Hey everyone, welcome back to our second part of our Smart Start unit. Today we'll be taking a closer look at translations, reflections, and rotations, which are all rigid transformations. Remember that rigid transformations are movements that do not change the size or the shape of an object. The translations, reflections, and rotations are commonly known as slides, flips, and turns. Translations look like they're sliding, reflections look like they're flipping, and rotations look like they are turning, right? One key thing that you guys need to keep in mind is that everything that is done with these types of rotations needs to keep the original form. So if it does not look like the same shape after a transformation, it is not a rigid transformation, okay? So one thing that my students struggled with last year was the difference between a pre-image and an image. Just remember that the prefix pre means it comes before, right? Before the image. So that's if before we've altered it in any way, that is the pre-image. So every type of problem you see that's going to need a transformation, you're looking at a pre-image. After you've done the transformation, it is the image, okay? So this, we're getting into specific examples now of a translation. Okay, so we're going to be graphing the image and recording vertices. All right, so let's get straight into it. So for this, we're going to be looking at this triangle, right? We're doing a translation. And so it's giving us it in this format, right? So I don't know if you guys can really see this, but here's the format it's giving us it in. So it looks like there's no change in the x-axis, but there is a change in the y-axis. It's going to be a -1. So negative is down, right? So this triangle is going to be getting translated or slid down 1. So we'll look at this point, this j, it's going to go down. So it'll be j prime right here. Or here's our h, it's going to go down 1. It'll give me my h prime. And then my D is going to go down 1. There's my D prime. So after, here is my image. Here's my image, right? I'm going to go ahead and color it in for you guys so you guys can see what my final product looks like. But we're not done yet, right? We have to record our vertices. So here's J prime. Well, J prime looks like it's sitting at 1, 2, 3, up 1, 2, so it looks 3, 2. D prime looks like it's going at 0, -1. And H prime looks like it's at 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 3, -3. It's H prime. Okay, translations are pretty simple. You just kind of got to look for whether you're going to be adding or subtracting in the X or the Y axis. Okay, we're looking at reflections now. We're going to graph and record, same thing, graph and record the vertices of the image. Okay, across the x-axis. Okay, so I'm going to put that in red. Here's our x-axis. Here's what that shape is going to be flipping across, right? There's two ways to do this. You guys can either remember the special transformation rules, which I kind of gave you guys a little reminder of, or you guys can just count them. Now, this way is the sure way, right? Because you're not always going to have like a pretty graph to be able to do this on, but the counting is pretty easy. So I'm going to go ahead and do it the counting way, and then I'll do it the surefire way. So here we go. Here goes 1, 2, 3, 4. It's going to be the same distance on the same line. 1, 2, 3, 4. So here's my W prime. The M is one more down. Here's my M prime. And my D is 1, 2, 3, hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here's my D. Here's my D prime. And A is at 1, 2, 3, 4. Up 1, 2, 3. so I'm going to go down 3. I didn't need to count that. 1, 2, 3. Here's my A prime. So here's my image after a reflection. So like I said, you can easily count that. If you have a nice graph, it's really easy. If you don't have a nice graph, however, you can go ahead and just find the coordinates, the vertices, and then just go ahead and use this special rule down here. Okay, so we got W is sitting at X. Oh, I'm sorry, we're sitting at, W is sitting at negative 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we got negative, sorry guys, negative 1. And it goes up 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we got negative 1, 4. Now, just to kind of show you, save some time, let's see if the rule works for W prime. Okay, so it says the X is going to stay the same. There's no sign change, right? So it's going to be negative 1. And there's a sign change in the Y, so it'll be negative 4. So let's see if that W prime is at negative 1, negative 4. Negative 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. It is. It works. For sake of time, I'm not going to go ahead and show you that it works for all of them. It does, though. That's the surefire way of solving all those types of reflections. Okay. The rotations, there's no, it's actually easier to remember the rule for rotations than to try to imagine it rotating. So it's best to just kind of find those vertices. So here's my vertices, and find the coordinates for those. So J, K, and V. So J is sitting at negative 1, 1, 2, negative 2, so negative 1, negative 2. K is sitting at 1, 2. Here's my point of origin. Let me mark that. Negative 1, negative 2, and then we got 1, 2, 1. So K is sitting at 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, negative 4. And then we got 1, 2, 3, 4, negative 1. All right, so if we just do our, I'm going to do it in a different color, sorry. If we just do our special rule, we'll be able to find J prime. So our X and Y coordinates are going to flip positions. And so it's going to be X and Y are going to flip. So it's going to be negative 2, and there's no sign change, right? So we got negative 2, so here's my X, here's my Y. So my Y is going to be in front with no sign change, and my X is going to be in the back with a sign change, right? So it was negative 1, so negative 1 is going to have a sign change. And here's my K prime. So my Y is going to be in the front with no sign change, and my X is going to be in the back with a sign change. Here's my V with my Y in the front and my X in the back with a sign change. So let's go ahead and see if that kind of looks like it rotated 90 degrees clockwise. So negative 2, 1, 2, up 1. This is my J prime. K is negative 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, down 2, here's that. This is my K prime, and V prime is negative 1, down 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4. This is my V prime. All right, it does look like we rotated it 90 degrees. Right, if you guys kind of imagine that, it rotates 90 degrees. I'm going to go ahead and color that in so you guys can see what my final answer is. And I'm going to box this because that was also requested of me. Okay, so now we've taken a look at rotations, reflections, and translations. So you kind of know how to do all of them. Here's the true test on whether or not you guys understand. Can you put them all together? So we have multiple steps in here. We're going to go ahead and graph the first part. So first part is just kind of getting the vertices of the original shape down of the pre-image. So A is going to, we're going to be looking at triangle ALT. So A, let's graph A is -5, -1. So it's right here. This is my A. And my L is going to be at -3, -2. So -3, -2. This is my L. And my T is at -3, 2. -3, 2. Here's my T. So here's my pre-image. This is my image before anything has been done to it. Okay? So I've done this part. I don't have to worry about this anymore. I'm going to do it in a different color. This is going to be helpful for you guys. If you have multiple colors, go ahead and do it this way so you can keep your stuff organized. We're going to do a translation, right? That's, this little symbol means translation. We're going to go 6 spaces to the right and down 3. Now I have a nice graph here, so I'm just going to go ahead and do that. If I didn't, I'd just add 6 to -5 and then find my coordinate, right? And I would do that for every one of these. But I'm going to go ahead and just do it because I have the nice graph. So here goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, down 3, 1, 2, 3. This is T prime. So where's T prime sitting at? 3, -1. Okay, let's look at L. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, down 3, 1, 2, 3. This is my L prime. And my A. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, down 3, 1, 2, 3. Here's my A prime. My L was sitting at 3, -5. And my A prime is sitting at 1, -4. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and graph my triangle. Okay, but we're not done yet, right? I've done this part. Don't worry about that anymore. Now we're going to reflect it across the y-axis. Here's my y-axis. I'm going to flip it across that axis, right? Now I could just count, or I can use my rules, and I could find those coordinates, right? I'm going to go ahead and use our rules this time, just because I already have my vertices over here. So here's my x and here's my y. There's a sign change for x. So this will become -1, and this will become -3, this becomes -3, and my y's stay the same. So -4, -5, -1. Okay? So let's see if that works. A prime prime should be -1, -4. So here's -1, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is A prime prime. L is -3, -5. Right here. So this is L prime prime. And T is -3, -1. And it does look like it has been flipped across that axis. And I'm going to color that in, and we are done. All right, so we're able to do that. Show you guys one last one, and then you guys will be responsible for those questions in the summary, just like last time, okay? Last example. Reflect T, A, B. Let's graph this. 2 at 3, 1 and 1. This was T, this is A, and B is at 4, -3. So there's this guy. Sorry, it's not perfect. So we're going to reflect it over the x-axis first, right? Over the x-axis. So that's this guy. And then we're going to reflect it across the y-axis. Okay, so if we're reflecting it across the x-axis, I'm going to go ahead and just do it the easy way, which is counting spaces. So this is going to be my A prime, right? Because it's only one space over. And this one's 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, 3. So go 1, 2, 3. This is T prime. And my B is 1, 2, 3. So it goes 1, 2, 3. This will be my B prime. The distance from the line of reflection is going to be the same, okay? but on the opposite side of the line that you're reflecting it. So here's my first pre-image. Okay, so let's write those coordinates down. A is at -1, 1, -1, 1, -1, and T is at 2, -4, and B is at 4, +3. Okay. Last reflection is going to be across the y-axis. So we're going to be flipping it across this guy. And again, I'm just going to do it the easy way. It's going to be A prime prime because of you go one space away. So A is going to be at -1, -1. And T is going to be at, here's 1, 2, 1, that's 1. Yeah, T is going to be right here, T prime prime, and that is at -2, -3, or is it 4? Did I mark T wrong the first time? It's 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I marked T wrong the first time. It's actually -3, I'm sorry. Yeah, sorry. So back to red. So it's going to be -3. So we got -2, -3. And B is going to be over here. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. B prime prime. So here's our final pre-image. Okay, so it looks like we reflected that across. What are the coordinates of that? That is at -4, +3. And that is it. Okay, guys, make sure you guys are writing your summary and your guys' reflection. Bring any questions you guys have to our class. See you guys next time.